or in the meat. Like you'd go to the counter and you'd say, "I'd want a pound of hamburger," and he said, "Okay." So he'd go back into the cooler and cut off a chunk of beef, come out, put it in a grinder, grind it, and then he would give you your pound of hamburger. You know, everything was fresh.
Right.
And if you wanted crackers, cookies, didn't matter. Cereal, it was all in a barrel. You got a scoop and put it in the bag, and he'd weigh it, and that's it. There wasn't really very much stuff that's in cans or boxes at all.
No
Because
Heinz,
there wasn't
no Heinz
processed
ketchup?
food.
No Heinz ketchup?
That might have been, but I don't recall it. No, there would have been ketchup and mustard. Yeah, there were a few things in bottles and cans. Very few items though.
Was there a bottled beer, or did you have to buy the beer under a tap?
Beer
It was in a
was
can.
mostly you'd go to the corner
Get a
saloon
bucket.
with a little tin pail, and they would fill up the pail and you'd take it home.
Okay.
Yeah. No
And for a
processed
soda
food.
pop, you had to go to the soda jerk?
Yeah, and well, people didn't have refrigerators, so you had ice boxes. So ice cream doesn't keep in ice boxes.
But
Not
what
very
age were
long.
you when all that was going on? Like 5 and 6? When did you start noticing change?
Well, prior to World War II, there was a lot
That
of...
makes sense. World War
Yeah.
II made a big change, yeah.
It was after World War II that you saw the first supermarket, for instance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And no one had a credit card or wrote checks.
Yeah, everything
Was cash.
because everybody got paid in cash.
Yeah, you had a passbook for the bank, and you would take your money, you put it in the bank, and then whenever you wanted to buy something, you went to the bank and got enough money to go buy whatever it is. So you didn't write a check.
Yeah.
I remember what a thrill it was for me when I started to work after World War II, that I got a checking account. And then several years later, it was a long time after that, before I got a credit card.
Well, didn't you work before the war? You must have, because you
Yeah,
were...
I did, but they would write me a check, and I would take it to the bank and deposit it in my savings account and take some money out, like $10 or
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that at GE before the war?
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you not have side jobs before GE?
but it got paid cash.
Did you work like at a soda shop or something?
Yeah, I got paid cash. I worked in a florist shop in high school. I set up pins when I was in 7th grade, but it was all
Set
cash.
up pins. Yeah.
It was all cash.
So they didn't pay taxes and Social Security and all that
No,
stuff for
no, Social Security and stuff like that came after World War II.
Wasn't it like the 50s?
I don't remember the exact time.
Hmm.
Whole different world.
Yeah.
There was no television, and very few people had a radio. Before World War II, we didn't have a radio.
Everything was so much simpler then, though.
Well, yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah.
Quiet at nighttime. What'd you do? Just
Very
go to bed?
quiet.
Go to
Everybody-
bed.
Yeah, well, all we would do was go to the library and get a book and read.
But if you
Or
think
buy
about...
what they call pulp magazines.
What's
Where
that?
there would be short stories.
Yeah.
10 cents.
Graphic novels, they call that now, I think. Anyway. Yeah. Because when you think about how crazy the world is going now...
Yeah, you wouldn't drive a
course.
car in the wintertime, for instance.
Yeah, but not that many people had cars.
Well, very few people had cars.
So they're too
And what
expensive.
they would do is they would run the car up until the first snowfall, and they would put it in the garage and jack it up,
Wow.
take the pressure off the tires,
Wow.
and then not use the car again until spring. And then you would put chains on your tires,
Well, yeah, up
because they didn't
there.
have snow tires. You'd have to put chains on if it was snowing
Well,
or
yeah.
icy.
All those
So
hills.
for the few people who had cars, that could just go in there, because there's no heaters in cars.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. So why use it?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
a car, you couldn't have it parked anywhere very long because it would freeze up on you.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, you know, where's the,
That's really wild
where's
to
the,
think
where's
about.
the, you know, you crank up your windows and,
So life was easier then, but things were tougher because you didn't have all the technology that the Industrial Revolution
the
brought.
whole pace of your life was completely different. People mostly, when in good weather,
Sat
would
outside.
would go
And they were
outside,
neighborly.
walk
No one ever
around,
sees their
sit on the
neighbors
front
anymore.
porch, stop and talk to them, etc. And you get home, and most people would just have one light bulb up at the ceiling in every room. That was it. No lamps.
Huh.
There was no sockets. You couldn't plug anything in because there was nothing to plug in. You didn't have toasters or, you know, stuff like that.
No TV.
None
That
of
you
that.
go home and sit
No
on the couch and
radio,
watch
no-
TV.
I remember that we lived in the four-family flat next to my grandparents, and underneath us, Aunt Martha lived with Uncle Frank and Cousin Joe. Well, Uncle Frank was a cripple. That's what we called him back then. He was a cripple. He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And he got hurt in a motorcycle accident.
Mm.
And he had the first radio that I was aware of, and it was a crystal set with earphones.
Oh.
So only he could listen to it. But he would allow me to, the World Series time, to go and listen to the World Series, Babe Ruth, you know, way back then. And he would have his earphone, one of the earphones in here, and he'd have the other one with me in my ear over here. And we would watch, listen to the World Series.
That's what the kids are like now. They have one in one ear and then they have it pulled out so that the other person can listen.
I remember.
Yeah, you just have no idea what.
No, I know.
what
I
it's
remember
like.
telling one of my art students that when I was a young girl, all TV was black and white, and she just looked. She went like that. She almost jumped. She went, "Oh, really?" And it's like it doesn't bother me, even if I see things in black and white. It doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I mean, even if you think about it, what you're describing is the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're talking like
Actually, the
growing up.
20s, at the end of the 20s.
We were
I was
21.
21.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I lived there, I was, because we moved from there when I was about 8 years old.
From the
Pine
flat.
Street. Yeah, to the house on Garden Street.
Mm.
Whose idea was it to adopt us? Was it your idea or Mom's idea?
Well, both, because we were trying to get kids. Your mother especially. She wanted to have a dozen.
Why?
I have no idea.
Me neither.
Anyway,
Whoa.
yeah, we